Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm Tiara and you just stepped into my spiritual world. In today's video, I'm going to talk all about how to meditate and manifest using moon magic. And this is something that I have done for the last couple of years that has had so many profound effects, positive effects on my life, and I want to share with you guys how I do this. So my intention is to hopefully teach you guys how to utilize the energy of the moon to enhance your spiritual practices while simultaneously using your astrological birth chart to further and continue your self-discovery and self-development. There is going to be a lot of information and knowledge dropped in this video today. It's going to be so valuable. After this video, you'll know how to harmonize your energy with the moon's energy so that you can cleanse, heal, and activate certain parts of yourself and certain aspects of your life so that you can live your best life and be the best version of yourself. So if you want to know how to do this, then just keep watching. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this stuff. Give it a thumbs up and make sure to hit that notification bell so that you can get notified for future videos on my channel. So let's get right into it. So what is moon magic? Moon magic is pretty much when someone is consciously working with the cycles of the moon to attract certain physical, emotional, metaphysical, mental, spiritual energies into their life, or even certain outcomes into their life. That's really all that moon magic is. This practice goes back literally for ages, and people have practiced this for a really, really long time. Therefore, we can all pretty much use moon magic. Moon magic is for everyone that wants to use it for their highest good and the greater good of all. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of astrology now, which I know I haven't talked a lot about astrology yet here on my channel, but I will be working it into my content from now on moving forward. But for those of you who are maybe a little bit new or are just now getting into astrology, or maybe for those of you who are unaware of how astrology can even be used or how it's valid enough to be connected to or tie into your spiritual journey, I do want to let you guys know that astrology and even just your personal birth chart in general can be used as an amazing resource or tool to further expand your self-development, your self-discovery, introspection, and just overall so many things along your healing journey. So if you are not already currently aware of what the mapping of your personal birth chart looks like, I will put some apps down below that I recommend, and I'll also put a link to a website with some directions and instructions on how to bring up your birth chart. You will need your birth date, your birth location, and your accurate birth time in order to use the method that I'm teaching you guys today. And also it's just good to have that, like I said, as a resource moving forward on your journey. So if you need to, go ahead and pause this video right here. Go ahead and bring up your birth chart so that you now have that as a reference moving forward. So like I said earlier, we can all use moon magic, but from my experience and what I have seen or noticed is that this technique is especially like extremely useful and effective for those of you who are Cancer or Capricorn rising, or even just people who have very strong lunar energy in general, or strong lunar placements. So if you have the moon, and you'll see the moon on your birth chart, it literally looks like a little crescent moon. If you have that on one of your major angles, such as the ascendant line or your descendant line or even your midheaven or IC, then you're probably someone who feels really, really connected to the energy and the cycles of the moon. You might even be really sensitive to the cycles of the moon. Also really applies to you if you have a Cancer sun or Cancer moon. So the moon and its cycles can basically be used as a calendar for your manifestations, spiritual healing, chakra work, and a lot of other things. In this video, I'm gonna specifically really be focusing on how you can enhance your chakra work, just because we've already talked about that in the past. But just be aware that you can pretty much use this technique for anything. So another question you guys are probably thinking right now is like, okay, why and how? Like, why does this work? Why is it effective? And how does it work? Well, there's a rhythm to our lovely grandmother moon. She has a vibrational energy of her own. There are a lot of like theories and stories behind the purpose of the moon in general. I see it as like an energy transmitter. Okay, that's kind of how I view it. That's my truth. That's my perspective at this current moment in time. It may not be that way forever, but that's just how I see it, and that's how I perceive it. And that's what helps me feel connected to it and understand the influence of its energy. So as an energy transmitter, it influences so many different vibrational energies on Earth, as well as so many different aspects of our human experience. We also know that there's a very strong link and correlation and connection between the moon and water. The moon rules the sign of Cancer in the zodiac, which is a cardinal water sign, for example. You'll notice probably that the tides of the ocean are very different at certain points during the moon cycle, such as the full moon, the new moon, the waxing moon, etc. The human body, we also know, is made up of over 75% water. That's why it's so important for us to be drinking our water. But seeing as though there is such a strong connection and correlation with the tides of the ocean, we can also assume that there's a strong influence on us as human beings. There's also a really strong connection between the moon and feminine energy. Cancer is also a feminine sign in the zodiac. It's a sign that's very motherly and very nurturing. And us as women, we have a natural cycle of our own. We have our own moon cycle that lasts about 28 days, just like the moon cycle itself lasts for about 28 to 30 days. So these are all definitely not coincidences, but I did want to give a lot of emphasis on this just so you guys can see how significant this energy really is and how it plays into our lives, and how sometimes we're not always consciously aware of it. So by diving deeper into this and understanding all of these deeper connections and how the moon can have such a strong energetic frequency that signifies like energetic responses on Earth and in the human body, we can honor and utilize this energy. So with that being said, let me now get into the different phases of the moon and just give you guys a quick little rundown of how they're different and why they're really significant. There are 8 phases in the moon's cycle. We have the new moon or the dark moon. We have the waxing crescent, the first quarter, the waxing gibbous, the waning gibbous or disseminating moon, last quarter or third quarter moon, and the waning crescent or balsamic moon. So I'm gonna sum all of these up for you in the best, most simplest way possible. This 8-phase cycle takes about 28 to 30 days to complete. There are these extended completions of the moon cycle and lunar energy from an astrological perspective that can go as far out as like 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years. But in this video, I'm gonna keep things like real sexy and simple for you. So as the moon transitions through all of these 8 phases, it also moves through the 12 astrological signs. And it spends about 2 to 3 days in each sign, give or take. So then this means it also will move through the 12 different houses in your astrological chart, which we will get deeper into in just a few minutes. So 2 out of these 8 phases are very, very well known and widely popular because of the strong energy that they do bring. And those 2 phases are the new moon and the full moon. So the new moon is when the moon and the sun are making an exact conjunction, meaning that they're at the same exact degree in a zodiac sign. And because they are in complete alignment, from our perspective down here on Earth, it looks like the sky is completely black, meaning we can't see a moon. The moon is completely void of light. And this generally signifies the start of a new cycle or a new beginning. Because if you think about it, the opposite of full is empty, right? So the moon is completely empty and it's giving us a new slate. And the darkness of the moon during this time can also be really representative of the transformational and transitional time between death and rebirth. So we can see this as hitting the reset button. And a lot of different people do take advantage of this energy because during this time, it's really, really great to set new intentions. So a lot of people set their new intentions during this time, But in my opinion and in my practice, I do sort of start to set my intentions and take action towards my intentions and my goals during the waxing crescent phase of the moon, because that is when the moon is starting to grow in light and gain momentum. The dark moon is very feminine and it's very yin in nature. And from what we know and what we understand about the polarity between divine feminine and divine masculine, feminine energy is very transformational, and sometimes it can sort of seem like it's destroying or, clearing out things, but really it's kind of clearing out blockages and making space for the intentions, for the manifestations, and all the new good energy to come in. So around this time of the new moon, physically and psychologically, we tend not to be so outwardly energetic, but more receptive and more yin. So what I like to do, and even what I recommend or suggest during this darker moon, during the new moon, like that first day or two, when the moon is empty, is go ahead and empty what you need to empty. Clear out, clear your space, clean your space. Focus on really cleansing and receiving messages and healing for your energy. And it may even be good for you to do some shadow work during this time to clear out those blockages and challenges and obstacles, so that when we do begin the waxing crescent moon phase in just a few days after the new moon, you then can fully invite, and you have like all the space that is needed for new good energy, good fortune to come in, and it's going to be like flowing in abundance. So after you make this space for the light that will be coming in, as the moon grows in light, it will eventually hit its peak, and that will be during the full moon. But right before that, like I said, that waxing phase where you have the waxing crescent up until the waxing gibbous, we end up having a lot of momentum. So it's a really, really great time to do your scripting, your visualization, figuring out what you need to do, taking action towards what you need to do in order to reach the goals that you were sort of making space to plant the seeds in. And you can get those things done. We tend to be honestly the most productive during this time, because as the moon is starting to grow in light again, so is the light within you. And then we hit the peak, we hit the full moon. And the full moon is when the sun and the moon are completely opposite in the sky. So the sun is right here and he's shining, and the moon is reflecting its light, and then it looks just honestly so beautiful in the sky. A lot of us love the full moon, and this is the culmination of the moon's energy. It's the climax of the moon phases, and this phase will wholly and completely amplify and intensify anything and everything. Even though the moon itself is very yin, this particular phase does have some yang energy to it, some masculine energy, because we have that output of light. We have that output of illumination. So we tend to have the most energy during the full moon, as well as the time leading up to it. But that's why if you really pay attention and become aware of the moon phases, you'll begin to notice that during the full moon, like, the most activity happens. So this also may be the point where you start to see that your manifestations are coming to fruition. Your manifestations will be flowing into your reality, or at least starting to, because you planted that seed during the beginning of that moon cycle, and now that you're at the very peak and climax of this moon cycle, you'll start to see the plant either fully grow, or you'll start to see it bud up a little bit. This is also a really, really great time for you just to like recharge, reactivate yourself. I like to do a lot of self-care around this time as a way of recharging, spending some time alone as well, because some of us have to do that if you do have some water energy in your chart. Spiritual cleansing, healing, Reiki, shedding light on things. You can do shadow work during this time too. Those are all really, really great things to do around this time, because like I said, the full moon will amplify and intensify anything and everything. And that is why I think that so many of us do appreciate the energy of the full moon, because this particular phase is so versatile. Like, the energy is so versatile, and not only is it just so beautiful to look at and a manifestation of our own light, but it's like its energy is so mystical and magical that we can make anything happen. And then lastly, we get into the waning phase of the moon. This is when the moon is starting to decrease in light so that it may begin a new lunar cycle. So here we're getting back into that lunar energy, we're getting back into that yin energy. We might be a little bit more tired, a little bit less active, but then this is also the best, most optimal time for reflection and release and letting go of things that no longer serve you anymore, and basically completely surrendering to the workings of the universe. So that was just a very, very quick summary of the moon cycles for you. I hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. I tend to work really, really hard on these videos so that I can provide you guys with as much information and knowledge as possible. So like I said earlier, go ahead and subscribe and like the video. Comment down below if you're hearing anything interesting so far. Share this video with a friend if you want. And I'm gonna get into some really, really good stuff now. This is the part of the video that will probably change your life. It definitely changed mine when I started to implement this technique in my life, and I have so much for you in this half. I don't even know how long this video is gonna be, but in this half or part of the video, this is it right here. Like, this is the bread and butter of this video. This is the juice. So about every month, because we know now that the lunar cycles are about 28 to 30 days, and our calendar months are anywhere from like 28 to 31 days, right? So we get to experience these lunations every single month. Some months we are fortunate enough to experience like 2 new moons or 2 full moons, and that second moon or that second like lunation is super, super special. I think the last one that we did experience was in October of 2020, and I'm not sure when the second special little moon is gonna be, but just pay attention to that, because that second new moon or full moon in a month is like super powerful. It's like extra powerful. But anyway, so every single month we can honor the moon's energy, and we can use it for manifesting and reaching our goals, resetting our beliefs, or, you know, reframing our limiting beliefs, doing chakra work, and doing so much more with it. So every month we receive the opportunity to meditate with these intentions to bring us more in alignment with our higher selves. And when I say higher selves, I'm meaning like the best version of ourselves, the best possible versions of ourselves, which allows for like quicker and stronger manifestations, more accomplishments, much more graceful spiritual journey and healing process, more clarity on your spiritual awakening, stronger intuition, expanded awareness, and overall just a higher quality of consciousness, which leads to a higher quality life. And it's all good stuff. This also helps us consistently put our focus on what we want or what we desire for 28 to 30 days at a time. And we already know that where our focus goes, energy flows, right? But at the same time, there's certain periods of this cycle where we can release attachment and create less resistance towards our manifestations and our goals, so that we can again surrender to the divine workings of the universe and it can do what it do. So then I would like you to just really quick imagine every month you're doing this type of work, okay? And we have 12 months in a year. So then think about it. By the end of the year, if you would have made 1 to 2 manifestations, or you set out 1 to 2 goals every single month or every single moon cycle, by the end of the year, you would have completed, or you would have manifested 12 to 24 things. And even if they're not completed, you at least planted the seed. So then you have to think about it for a second, like, okay, when was the last time I really completed 12 really big goals that I wanted to complete? Or, you know, you even put them in perspective in a certain time period where, you know, they're not just sitting on your vision board looking nice and pretty, but you're actually acting upon these things, right? Like, it puts a lot into perspective. You can read 12 books in a year. You can choose to heal 12 parts of yourself or 12 things in your subconscious mind, which we already know our subconscious mind rules over like 90% or more of our life, of our external reality. So even if you do this work for 6 months, say every single month you chose one limiting belief that you have living in your subconscious mind, whether that's about love or it's about money or about health, and you replaced those negative limiting beliefs with 6 reaffirming, positive, life-enhancing beliefs. And then 6 months later you notice, wow, my life has really changed. You know, in your life, 6 months later, you notice 6 significant changes in your external reality as a result of you changing 6 different things in your subconscious mind. So if some of your limiting beliefs were money's the root of all evil, I'm living paycheck to paycheck constantly, you know, those sort of things. And then you replace those things with, you know what? I love money. Money loves me. Money comes to me so easily and so effortlessly. I guarantee you by the end of this 6 months, you will be attracting money so easily, so effortlessly that like every dollar you spend, it will just be coming back to you multiplied. And I know that sounds good. I know that sounds good to everybody. I'm telling you guys, I did this for a certain portion of my life, and I remember, I want to say for me, it was maybe like 2 or 3 months I was doing some work on my limiting subconscious beliefs behind money. And I also read the book, You're a Badass at Making Money. I somehow, within those next couple months after that, was just attracting money like out of thin air. Like it was just like that. I'm trying to tell you, you have to do this. I didn't even realize, or I wasn't even aware that I had subconscious limiting beliefs about money until I started doing this type of work, especially with it being connected to my birth chart. Like it was just profound. It's life-changing. So what I also implemented as a result of this and seeing how much it changed my reality is I started working on my chakras. I received a lot of feedback and messages from you guys about my chakra videos, and I'm really loving that you guys love them. But I also got a lot of people saying like, ooh, I need to work on like all of my chakras. And it's like, I feel you, okay? I feel you. We've all been there, I'm sure. Once we're conscious and aware, we've been there on our spiritual journeys. But what you can do is you can pick one chakra to focus on every single month, okay? And you know, in my series, we talked about 12 chakras. So if you wanted to, by the end of the year, have worked on all of your chakras, you can implement this technique. So I'm gonna stop teasing y'all now, because I know I've said that probably like 3 or 4 times during this video, and you're like, what is the technique? Like, just tell me the technique already. What do I need to do, okay? I'm gonna tell you right now. We're gonna talk about it real deep right now. I'm not gonna tease you anymore. I'm going to explain to you guys how you can use your birth chart to customize the type of manifestations I'm talking about so that it can work the most harmoniously for you and your life and your chart. Okay, so first off, I just want to say that you can use any form of astrology for this, okay? It does not matter. For those of you who are a little bit more advanced and you maybe study tropical astrology, sidereal astrology, whole house system, Placidus system, Vedic astrology, all that. Whatever form of astrology that resonates with you the most, you can use. I myself have used this with different systems of astrology because I do practice pretty much all of those systems, and it has worked for me for all of these. So there's truth from all perspectives. That's something I always preach, and I want you guys to really live by that, because this allows you to never be boxed into one belief system. So what I'm trying to essentially say here is, what really matters here is that you're becoming more aware of how the moon is moving through the different houses of your astrological chart with each lunation, and it's triggering certain aspects of your life. So focusing on the energy of a particular house during the lunation cycle ensures that you're spending a significant amount of time with your intentions in that specific area of life. And when I say houses, because I know some of you guys are like, what is she talking about? The 12 houses in the astrological chart look like little pie slices. So if you brought up your chart with the apps or links that I recommended earlier, you can see that you're probably looking at a circle. If you're using the Vedic system, you're looking at like a rectangle or square with triangles in it. I like to use the Western tropical like circular chart for this because it's a little bit easier to see the pie slices and which direction they're going in. So the houses are those pie slices, and you would read them in a counterclockwise motion. These 12 houses represent 12 different areas or aspects of your life, and they have specific energies of their own. Therefore, we can also correlate them to the energy of the chakras. So I'm gonna scoot over a little bit just so we can put some visuals on the screen right here for you guys to see and understand a little bit better. So here are houses 1 through 12, again going in a counterclockwise motion. And I went ahead and just put a few words that sort of represent what that house is about and the energy that it encompasses, so that you guys can get a better idea of what that is. So you can screenshot if you want. And then here is another chart, obviously looking very the same, but these are the different chakras that I correlate each house to. And I went ahead and added in chakras 8 through 12 just because I know that there's not a ton of resources out there about how this correlates to the energy of the zodiac. This is how I'm correlating them at the current moment, because these are very, very metaphysical chakras, but this is kind of a good representative of how they correlate to the houses and the energy of the signs. So you guys can screenshot this too. Don't you just like love me posing for your screenshots? Can you tell I'm a tropical Leo rising? Okay, so I'm also going to put in Luna's birth chart. This is a made-up chart that we're using for this video. This is one that I just brought up on astro.com, which is the website that I'm recommending for you guys to use. I made her birthday February 22nd, 2022 at 2:22 a.m., which obviously hasn't happened yet. We have not experienced this moment yet, or have we? But I'm using this chart as a reference to explain to you guys exactly how to do this, explain to you guys what you'll be looking at, etc., etc. So now that you have your natal moon, you'll see that in your birth chart. You can see Luna's here. So now that you're getting a better picture of where your personal natal moon is living, you can see that it's already sitting within a house and it's already sitting within a astrological sign. So you can see here that Luna has her natal moon in the 12th house in Scorpio. It'll definitely help you if you have an awareness of what the glyphs of the signs look like, because it'll just help you memorize what each sign is, but they do go in order from Aries to Pisces. But this is not the transiting moon that we're looking at this current moment. This is just Luna's natal moon. This is the moon that is in her birth chart at the moment that she's born. So now I'm gonna bring up Luna's chart with the transits that we are currently experiencing while I'm filming this video for you guys right now. So you would again bring up on astro.com natal chart with transits so that you guys can see this, where all of these green symbols of the planets are around her natal chart. This is where the current transits are. So we're not currently experiencing a new moon while I'm filming this video. So the only difference with the green planets are that the sun and the moon are not going to be next to each other on the chart, but the reasoning still applies, the logic still applies here. Just stay with me. So let's say we are experiencing a new moon in the sign of Aries, which we actually will be experiencing very, very soon in the tropical zodiac. So you guys can get started with this technique on that new moon if you want, and then go all the way to the new moon in Pisces and go through all of your chakras and all your goals and manifestations and all that good stuff. But the sun and the moon will basically be in the sign of Aries, which you can see here in Luna's chart that the transiting moon actually right now is in the sign of Aries. So we will basically look for the sign of Aries and where it overlaps in the chart. So we can see here in Luna's chart that she has the sign of Aries ruling her 5th house. And we actually can see that the current transiting moon is there as well as I'm filming this video. So that means that Luna personally would be experiencing the new moon in Aries in her 5th house of creativity, fun, sex, dating, children, all that stuff. So if she wanted to, she could set up some goals and manifestations around that topic or area of life, or she could also do some sacral chakra work, which is how I started working a lot with my chakras and cleansing, healing, activating them, opening them up, balancing them, all that good stuff. This is exactly how I did it. So that would mean for about the next month, that would be what Luna would be focusing on. Now she can also be conscious and aware that usually around the time when the full moon comes around, the moon will have moved through the houses in her birth chart, and it would be most of the time in the opposite sign to the new moon that we had experienced. So Luna would be experiencing the full moon in her 11th house in the sign of Libra. So this is when she would probably see her goals and manifestations come to life, or at least see them starting to show themselves in her reality. Or maybe this would be the time where she's starting to experience like the height of the activation of her sacral chakra. And even if she wanted to, she could set up some new manifestations and goals around this energy, or switch it up and do some new chakra work correlated to the third eye, correlated to the 11th chakra, some goals around maybe making new friends that she can have fun with, you know, have that commonality of the 5th house and 11th house there. She could have even done that during the new moon, or even, you know, reflecting on her hopes and wishes and how she can get there using her creativity, that sort of thing. So you can see how like these houses and these signs and the new moon and the full moon all can start to make sense of in your life, and you can start to use it very harmoniously. It's all about the energy. So that is pretty much it. I'm not going to talk about it hitting certain planets and degrees in the chart because we would be here for a lot longer. Like, we'll be here for a while. But that does happen too. You know, we were experiencing the new moon on her Chiron. That would make a really big difference. Or you know, maybe the new moon is at 20 degrees Aries, triggering a square aspect to her 20-degree Venus in Capricorn. That would play into it too, but that gets to much more advanced astrology, which we obviously can talk about in the future. But I'm just keeping things really simple for you guys today in order for you guys to become the best version of yourself, improve the quality of your life, manifest with ease, all that stuff. I hope I helped you. I hope I broke this down in the easiest way possible. I'm gonna move back to the center now. So yeah, this is how I have manifested with the moon for a really, really long time. It has done absolute wonders for me in my life, and I hope it does the same for you. Also, if you guys need any sort of help, or you want to amplify or give a little boost to this new moon in Aries and you getting started with this technique and implementing this technique into your manifestation routine, I have about 12 meditations now on my website that you guys can pick from according to what you're working on. I also have packages of meditations that you guys can pick from as well, to even help you get started on your journey or to work on your chakras. So hopefully that can help you and help guide you through this journey. You can listen to those meditations for the entire moon cycle. I created these and customized these. These have custom binaural beats and Reiki healing, and I kept you guys in mind while making these. So go ahead and check them out. They're on my website, linked down below. And if you guys have any other questions or comments or anything, go ahead and comment them down below. I'm gonna try to get to as many of you guys as I can, because I know this is a very new technique for probably some of you, and even for those of you who are already well versed in astrology or already well versed in the law of attraction and manifesting the life of your dreams. You know, I'm here as a resource for you too. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just know that I love this quote. I'm gonna put this in here because I see this on social media and I just absolutely love it. The moon is a beautiful reminder that you are divine, whole, and complete, no matter what phase you're in. I love that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I love you. I'm gonna cut this off here because I'm sure this was a little bit of a long one, so peace.